it's very important. Another important thing I would like to talk about in relation to trade secret is that a lot of times people don't know, you don't really own the IP. The fact that you came up with that IP does not mean that you own it. Again, the fact that you paid for IP doesn't mean that you own it. So for instance, you get a photographer to take a picture of you or take a picture at some function or event or whatever. In the absence of a written agreement, our law says that whatever picture the person takes, a written agreement assigning it to you, right? The copyright in the pictures and all of that will belong to the person that took the pictures. You get someone to design your website or your domain for you. If you don't have an agreement that clearly assigns that website or domain name to you and all that, copyright in that will belong to the person that created it. It's immaterial that you paid him 1 million for it. It's immaterial that, oh, obviously I called it to come and do this for me and everything. Under our laws, you should have a clear agreement. It has to be written, not oral, stating that, look, I've transferred the rights or I assigned the rights. I've been asked to do this work. I'm assigning the rights to this person who has paid me money to do so and all that. And that's one mistake that a lot of businesses make. They don't really take care to ensure that they own the IP. So it's important to note that the fact that you have paid for your IP does not necessarily mean that you own the IP. Again, in relation to know-how or trade secrets and all that, in a business, what typically happens, the kind of scenario that we have is that a couple of people come together, they come up with an idea, they have an idea, they start developing their idea, they express the idea in some way, they get a product, the product looks like it's promising and all of that. They start talking to more and more people, perhaps or not. It might even be just relegated to just those few people that came up with the idea and be talking about it and all of that. But then there are 2, 3, 4 people. Before you know what's happening, one travels to Canada, or one leaves the company, goes to work in another company, or maybe you don't even have, clear-cut agreements amongst yourself and all of that. The person lives with all he knows, right? That trade secret is in his head. The know-how is in his head. He goes to company B and starts pouring out all that he knows there, So one thing that is very important for startups, and one advice I usually like to give is, make sure that you actually, number one, conduct an audit of what is the IP that you have. This business that you're doing, what IP do you have? Do you have any special name you're using? Does the name belong to you or to your company? Do you have any special logo? Do you have any special thing that you've come up with? Any special script? Is there a particular trade secret or whatever? Do you have some necessary agreements amongst yourselves to ensure that, again, know that anyone that is doing any work for you, please be sure and be certain that